Welcome back to the Political Theater, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me this evening, and wherever you guys may be tuning in, wherever you are on X, if you guys are on Substack, or maybe you guys be here this evening. We have got a lot to talk about, and I'm great to be back with you guys here on Monday. We have a ton to go over. This weekend was very interesting. For those who missed what happened over the weekend, the HHS Doge team released a massive data set that we're going to talk about, and we're also going to go over some of the other interesting things that have happened as a result of that data set being released. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over a number of the other news stories that happened over the weekend. There's still no real update on the Nancy Guthrie story, even though I'm not even sure that really matters to me all that much anymore. That story has just gotten so absurd after all of the ridiculousness that happened with it over the weekend. I'm not really sure I paid that much attention to it anymore, but we have a whole bunch to talk about anyway. So we're going to go through all of that and a whole lot more this evening. So, guys, make sure you share the link out if you guys are listening to us on Substack. Make sure you guys follow the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe and share the link out. Make sure everybody knows that we are indeed live. X has been having all kinds of problems today, guys. So if you guys are listening on the X space and you can't hear what I have to talk about this evening, I am sorry. We'll see if we can fix that. I don't know if people can join or not. I know X has been down for most of the day this evening, most of the morning. It was not working. So if it's not working, I don't know. There's nothing I can do about that. But we're going to continue anyway because we have got a ton to go over this evening because this fraud data, or no, I'm not going to say, I keep calling it a fraud data set. It's not a fraud data set. It is the HHS data set that has all of the spending for all of the HHS providers all across the company. All of the Medicaid providers all across the country are included in this data set. And as a result of that, people have been tearing into it all weekend, including myself. And, you know, when the week ended last week, I was busy. I was down in Florida. And I was trying to actually build out some of the other, a new system I'm designing that's going to be helping me doing a lot of my investigative work that I'm doing across the country. If there's been following the show, been looking into the fraud aspects across the country, all of that stuff. I've been working on this for a while now. And it just so happened that they dropped this data set over top of the weekend. And as that happened, I was able to take that data and turn it into something really useful. And as you guys, if you guys have been following anything I said on X today, if you can even see X today, I know it was down for most of the day today. But if you could see some of the stuff I was talking about, I'm talking about a beta version that's going to be released to the public here very soon. So I'm going to talk about that and I'm going to show you guys that. And we'll be able to go over, and everybody should be able to see it on this show this evening. And if you guys are listeners of this show and constant listeners of the show, you'll be able to go check it out on the website. I'll release the website and talk about it on the website, at least the beta version, so you guys can go look at it. There's going to be a number of things that I'm going to do with this. One, I actually managed to create an interactive map that allows you to actually go around and, you know, scroll around in the country and look at different billing codes for the Medicaid stuff. And there's a lot of interesting data in here. There's a ton of interesting stuff in it. The reality is that I think HHS knew what happens when you open source things. You get a massive influx of people that are just going to tear through that data for you. So they don't even have to do anything at all. I mean, they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is go look and see what everybody else is doing. And that's exactly what I think is happening. So the amount of stuff that I found already just in the short period of time that I've had to look at it, which is just a couple days, I built something that is designed to look at all the data in mass, and it's now slowly aggregating and slowly working. And I'll talk about that too. But if this thing is as ridiculous as some of the stuff I've seen some providers that, you know, they just get, you know, there's 50 of them in the same location. You know, some of them have the billing codes for the home healthcare stuff. That's all over the place. There's home healthcare nonsense. There's all sorts of stuff that's stupid with it. So I'll show you guys some of that data, though, and we'll talk about some of that data, because it seems to me that I think that the government should do this with every single aspect that it spends money on. That's what I think should happen. If they release an open source data set of every single form of our money and where our money is going, then this will completely wipe out the fraud in this country. I really think so. I mean, I think it would absolutely wipe out some of the fraud, most of the fraud in this country. I think that it would make a huge difference if we did that. So I think it's worth them doing. And I hope they do it with every single department, If it's not military or classified spending, we should be able to see exactly where our money is, where our money's going, who's getting it, what it's being spent on. And if there's weird things in that, you know, and they don't want to audit it and they want to be slow about auditing it, or if they're just not going to do what their job is supposed to be, which is maintain our money and actually spend our money wisely and appropriately, well, then we'll be able to call them out on it. So I want to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys the website here. So this is the current version of the website. So this will be released to the public soon enough. This is a interactive map that operates, and you'll be able to see, I'll be able to scroll around here if I can find the right window here. I'll show you guys what this thing does. So the way that this works is it's very simple. It should be intuitive. Everybody should be able to use it. It should be very simple. You know, you can scroll around, you can click on things, it'll show you the exact address, it gives you a confidence score. The scoring system is designed so that you should be able to determine if it's worth going there to look at it. Now, I want to stress to people, there's a couple people that I've seen that have, as I've been talking about this, they're like, oh my God, it's not all fraud. No, it's not all fraud, guys. It's not. Okay. But what I've done is I've actually created a confidence scoring system. Now, the scoring that it's based on is taken from financial institutions and from our own government websites. You know, the government is supposed to have metrics for what they consider fraudulent behavior or how it could be close to fraudulent behavior. They have all sorts of stuff you can use to generate these metrics. Okay, so I took those and I actually added them into the map. And if you have something that's a critical location, it'll show up on it. So you'll be able to see what the confidence scoring is. So this one's a 45, and there's some in here that are much higher. But, you know, if you go look through each one of these, you'll be able to see exactly how much money they've been paid, where the location is, what city, what state, what location, what street. You can zoom all the way down to a street view with this thing, and you'll be able to go look at it yourself. So if you have something around you that you think may be fraudulent, you should be able to take this and you'll be able to go there and look at it yourself. That's the intention. I wanted to make it so that anybody could use it. I wanted to make it so that anybody could take this thing and they could use it on their own. And if they wanted to, I'm going to build another feature into this thing at some point. I haven't done it yet, but at some point I'm going to have it set up so that you'll be able to go onto these locations. You'll be able to go by state, and you'll be able to put yourself together your own system and your own checklist, essentially, that'll be able to tell you if there's potential fraud in an area. And that's what I wanted to do. I think that was worth doing. So this will be live. I was hoping to have it done today before the show started. That way I could tell everybody about it. Now, but it's not. It's not ready yet. I'm still having some issues with some of the stuff that's not loading on it. And there also is going to be something I'm going to add in there that's going to be, you know, it's not going to be a free feature, but it'll be something that's set up per state. You'll be able to buy a field guide that'll tell you all of the high risk locations per state. And you'll be able to go check it out. And they're only going to be like $20, but I mean, it's effort for me to get them set up and get it organized. So if you guys want those are going to be available for anybody. That way, if you want to learn how to go and look into these things, if you need to know the addresses, all that stuff will be on the website. So the intention is to have this thing built and up and running this week so that anybody who wants it can use it. So that should be out and live sometime in the near future, guys. But that's what I wanted to bring up as soon as we started the show, because this HHS data, I hope they do this with everything, but the amount of money that's here, the amount of spending that exists in some of these locations, I've seen places that are billions of dollars and it's a single person. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Some of the data is ridiculous. New York is terrible. California on the first pass hit every single metric for the top 25. So that was pretty funny to watch. Of course, it's always centralized in the same locations. You know, it's going to be all of the every single one of the blue states and the big blue hubs in each state. Of course, no one should be surprised by that. I wasn't at all. But of course, it is easy to actually be able to say that. But it's another thing to be able to go and actually check it out yourself, which you will be able to do with this system. You will be able to do that. So that's what I wanted to show everybody. I was pretty excited about it, getting it up and running today. There's also going to be a new version of my own website that'll be attached to this, so you guys will be able to check that out as well. I think Jacktron, who is up here on the show right now, he's actually seen the beta version of the website. If you've had any problems, if you guys want to be a beta tester, you can send me a DM. Just don't try to like buy anything on the website because it's not set up yet, so you won't be able to buy anything. But if you want to check out the beta version of this, you can shoot me a DM, and I will send you the link to the correct beta website, and you'll be able to see it yourself. But Jacktron, Angel, how are you two? What's up?
Doing good, Walter. How are you? Just trying to set up some of my own systems, but as you know, we've had some RAM problems.
Well, the reality is that is the future of all computing now. Everything's going to be more expensive. For anything that has anything useful is going to be expensive now.
I'm livid with ChatGPT and how they got rid of 4.0. I just want to say that, throw that out there. And I want to be a beta tester. I really do. I want to try that out.
I will shoot you a text. I'll shoot you a text with a link to
Awesome.
it. 4.0, why would you use the old version of it?
I got along with it better for some reason. It did way better research for me.
Oh, really? I don't know. I've never really paid much attention. I've seen some people that really liked like the 4.0 or whatever the hell that one was. I don't really care which one they use because I don't use them like most people do. I don't research with them the same way. To me, I'm always asking it to do something very targeted, and to me, I just want the most, and most advanced reasoning version that they have. So I've got the pro version, and I really like it. So to me, I've enjoyed using these
Yeah,
systems. Mm.
I think this one has more guardrails for everything.
I don't know. I don't run into those problems. I know some people tell me they have guardrails issues with some of the models, like Claude. When Claude first came out, I remember using that one and thinking it was ridiculous because it was so stupid. You couldn't ask it like any political questions whatsoever. It never worked. But I don't have that problem with ChatGPT or with Grok or I don't really use any of the other ones. I'm sure some people do, but I don't. I've only really ever used ChatGPT and Grok. To me, Claude was okay. But the coding system that they came out with on these programs are pretty cool because it allows you to really build something if you've got the mind for it. You can put these things together, and that's how I build a lot of these systems on here. So it's been really helpful. Now I've got some access to my younger brother is an AI engineer, so he's helped me with some of the more complicated problems that I ran into. But it's been great being able to set this up, and I think this is going to change the way that people look at how they use technology. I really do, because you'll be able to use these systems and build whatever you want. Essentially, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. But the actual interactive website, which is what I was more interested in telling everybody about, is live. It will be ready for everybody to check it out. If you want to check it out as a beta tester, just shoot me a DM. So anyway, let's talk about some of the other stories that we've had come on. As we go through the data on this HHS stuff, this is only going to get more ridiculous. I mean, obviously, it was, by the way, the data set itself was 227 million rows of data. It is enormous. I think they just said, here you go. That's everything. Just take it. But there's other stories that we're going to go over here. So as this stuff continues to work out, I'll tell everybody as I get the live website up, and you guys will be able to check it out. And then we'll continue to this stuff is going to be part of my investigation that I'm doing around the country. I'll be adding these in. It's not just, I mean, I call it the Somali fraud investigation, obviously, because it's easier to do that. But there's all sorts of other, government waste programs that we can look into that has nothing to do with Somalis. The Somalis just happen to be the dumbest and the easiest to look into. So there's a lot more than just them. So anyway, Jacktron, go ahead.
Well, if we really want to talk about a little bit about fraud, but Nick Shirley just came up with this story. I think it was also first reported by NBC that in Orange County, California, there was a dog that was registered to vote and actually voted in 2 elections.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show. Actually, we've talked about that on the show a couple times. Yeah, that's an old story, and it's true. I mean, listen, I got a friend of mine who lives in California, and he told me that he asked for a mail-in ballot for Joe Blow, and he got it like in the mail like 2 weeks later. I mean, there's no checks whatsoever. I mean, California, like I said, I was just there. It's baked in. It's baked into everything. I mean, every part of the state has it, and they essentially. I won't say legal, but I will say it's hard to call it fraud if that's the intention. Like I don't even know what you call it. I mean, it's institutionalized fraud, really. I mean, it's the laws are written so that fraud is designed to happen no matter how you do it. It's really, really strange. I mean, the amount of information that I got while I was out in California was crazy. I wrote an article about it, and I have a huge data set that I got from California while I was there because I was annoyed that I couldn't get access to the procurement data. So I ripped that and pulled that and put that on my database, and I'll be able to pull that. Maybe at some point I'll be able to add by state data to this interactive map. We'll see. I don't know. It's a lot of work to be able to get some of these things working. So we'll see if I actually manage to get that far. But as of right now, I do have that data, and I'll be able to pull through it at some point. So I'm going to continue working on California. California is going to take a lot of time to be able to do that right. But I think the next place I'm probably going to check it out is Michigan. Michigan's closer to me, but not only that, I think Dearborn is an interesting place. And there's a state senator there in Dearborn, or in Michigan, rather, that's been talking about how he wants the feds to review some of the stuff he's been seeing. So I'm going to go check that out in the near future. So I want to go up to Michigan. Funny enough, there actually is. I see Quality Leering Center has joined us this evening. There is a Quality Leering Center in Michigan, actually. It is now. I think they do spell it correctly. But the interesting thing is that this place offers virtual daycare. That's right, virtual daycare. I'm not sure how virtual daycare works, but they offer it. So, virtual daycare is available at the Quality Learning Center, Leering Center in Michigan. Now, I don't know if that's a service that the Quality Learning Center in Minnesota operates, but they do offer it at the one in Michigan. So I'm going to go check that place out because it looked absolutely hilarious. I have to see this sign that what virtual daycare is. I'm very curious. What does that mean? Do you just like put up a Zoom camera in your living room and then that's the person watching your kids? I I don't understand. So anyway, go ahead, Angel. Go ahead, Jack. Tron, either if you want to say something.
Yeah, you virtually learn something new every day. What's
That's
wrong
right.
with that?
That's right.
Just be careful over there, man. Like, I don't think they like Catholics that much in Dearborn.
I'm not too worried about it.
Stay
I think
safe.
I'll be okay. The reality is I'm not too worried about going into the dangerous places of the world. I lived a much different life before I started doing this stuff, guys. I'm not too worried about that sort of stuff anyway. But
I mean, you did go to Skid Row, so yeah.
yeah, I mean that's
Oh, yeah, Skid Row.
Skid Row is the south side of my city on everyday basis, so I'm not really too worried about all that stuff. But anyway, let's see here. Quality Leering Center, you came up and joined us. What's up, buddy?
Freaking love you guys. Miss you, Walter. You're my boy.
What's happening, man?
I heard about virtual learning. Hell yeah. We've been up to it. We've been doing it for a while. Ultra profitable. It's really just an Excel sheet. You go down A, B, C, D, all the way down through. Just creating virtual people and charging the government. We love to do it.
That makes sense. Now that's a good way to do it. That way you don't even have to do anything at all. I like it. Maybe that makes sense. Now I assume you probably get paid double for autistic virtual learning, which is very difficult, but it's very. I'm sure that's exactly how it's working.
So we actually have been dabbling in ABA therapy. We find it to be what the government's going to turn off the faucet for autistic kids, guys. That's the easiest money in
Not
town.
the autistic. Yeah, listen, the ridiculousness of this is, so when I was in California, one of the things I wanted to look at was some daycare stuff. I actually did look at some daycare stuff while I was in San Diego. And the funny part about that is that they don't publish anywhere their actual money that they pay to these places. Anywhere. I mean, they have a website for it. The website's down for maintenance. So I love that. The website's down for maintenance. You can't actually look at the data. Oh, yeah, it's not working. Sorry. Yeah, whatever. I mean, they don't want you to look. California, I think California probably figured this out. California saw what happened in Minnesota. They were like, oh, crap, shut it all down. Shut it all down. It's all on maintenance now. I think that's what they did. But I did manage to pull a bunch of that data anyway, even though they don't want people to find it. I managed to get it anyway. So I just haven't had the time to really able to publish any of it yet. So at some point in the near future, I should be able to put something out on that as well. But that'll be probably in a week or two. But virtual learning for autistic kids, I'm sure that's happening. I guarantee it's happening.
Big time. Big.
Well, anyway. So anyway, we can go through some of the other stories. So over the weekend, there's also the Epstein files. We can update the story on this that is now, I assume anybody that's named Jeffrey is going to have to change their name now. I don't think you're allowed to be named Jeff anymore. I think that's going to be immediately removed. I saw this ridiculous story earlier today that I commented on that I just thought it was like, it's so stupid. There's a guy running for Texas comptroller that apparently somebody endorsed him, and he's running for comptroller. And at one point, he purchased the Zorro Ranch from a public auction, and they're like, "Well, this guy is corrupt for some reason." And I'm like, "Guys, he bought a piece of land on a public auction. I bet you he got it for a steal too." Like, it's not like this guy that has anything to do with his character. And I've seen a bunch of people that have come out and said, "Oh my God, but there's bodies on the ranch." Like, guys, if there's anything that was there, don't you think that the bank would have had to deal with it for the multiple years before he even purchased it? I mean, it seems a bit absurd to me. It's been sitting there and the bank had to have taken it. So anything that was there or had to be cleaned up. I don't find any credibility to that story whatsoever. But of course, that's what everyone wants to talk about. Anybody that's even remotely associated, which I do find very funny that everybody that's been screaming about this, finally, they just release a giant document that has every name that's mentioned in the Epstein files. And it's just full of I mean, it's every person that you can imagine of is just mentioned in the Epstein files, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because they're mentioned doesn't mean anything at all. But of course, to everybody that's all over this, oh my God, into the planet, every single one of these people is associated, and they were there on the island themselves. I mean, it's getting so tiring
mad now that now the argument I've been seeing is that they think that the list is fake because they have names mentioned like Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe. It's like, guys, you wanted a list of all the names. Here you go, you got it. Why are you're now going to keep complaining? This is actually a point that Sean Ferris actually made on his show today called the outrage addicts, where people just are perpetually addicted to complaining.
I agree with that. Okay. I mean, the reality is that there's all sorts of things that we can talk about when it comes to the Epstein list. And some of these emails that came out were pretty important, I would say. Some of the stuff that we can actually see is like, hey, some of these comments from these people are very weird, and I'd like to know what those people have to say about those things. But this concept of anybody that's even mentioned in an email is somehow guilty of everything that Epstein did is just absurd. It's just absurd, and it's very tiring just listening to it. I mean, it
Absolutely.
doesn't
I
do
mean,
anything.
like you see what this story that came out with Ro Khanna and that clown Thomas Massey. So, I'm assuming you're aware of this, but for the audience, if you don't know, so Ro Khanna on the House floor read a bunch of names of people that were supposedly wealthy billionaires associated with Epstein. And then it turns out that they were just a bunch of people who volunteered for a FBI lineup.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what
I
I've
did
been
see
hearing
this.
from, yeah, and then there was this one of the guys apparently was fired from his job as a Brooklyn auto mechanic. But once he found out that, he was just listed as a lineup and volunteer, he got his job back. So, of course, they had to read them on the House floor because if they didn't, those guys would have absolutely sued them into bankruptcy.
Well, I mean, that's the deal, though. I mean, this is the problem I have with this whole scenario is that it's just become a over politicized issue to the point that both sides are trying to figure out how they can use it against the other. Ro Khanna's using it, Massey's using it. The Democrats have decided that they care about this, even though they don't have any leg to stand on. Watching the Bondi interview or Bondi committee hearing last week was ridiculous. I mean, they're just sitting there. Why haven't you done this? Why? Well, what the hell are you guys talking about? It's like one thing for like us to criticize Pam Bondi. I have no problem if any people on the right want to criticize Pam Bondi. Everybody is well aware, if you listen to this show, that I criticize her on a regular basis. I mean, I'm not nice to the woman. I think that she has done a reasonably bad job at some of the things that she's done. However, that doesn't mean the Democrats have anything to say. Okay, listen, no, you guys don't get the family argument of us yelling at Pam Bondi, people on our own side, is one thing, but the Democrats can't say anything. They don't have anything to stand on whatsoever. If they had the ability to release this for years. I mean, this is stuff that they could have done on their own, but no. Now it's somehow important to them. It's not important to them. They don't care about this at all. Doesn't mean anything to them. And I keep seeing the better part about this is that there's more and more of this where there's just random things that came out like 10 plus years ago. And people are like, oh my God, did you see this? Like, yeah, actually, it was on 4chan like a year, or like 7 or 8 years ago. Like, no one cares. Anybody who just actually followed the Epstein stuff reasonably close for the past, I don't know, however long it's been happening now, it feels like it's been a lifetime at this point. I mean, the reality is that all this crap that keeps coming out, most of it's already known. I mean, it's not even really that interesting. It's old stuff. It's not that interesting. Some of the new emails that came out are pretty interesting, and I'd like to have some answers on some of those things. But outside of that, this whole everybody that's even close to it must be prosecuted in the court of public opinion that they're just as bad as Jeffrey Epstein is just ridiculous. And of course, this was the worry about releasing all of the files in the first place. If you listen to what the argument was, I'm not sure I agree with their argument, but now, I mean, I think this is actually better to do it this way because now it's all out there. All right, you go ahead, scream about it, yell about it, go find things that are out of context or not related or anything like that. I mean, my favorite was there was another one that just came recently. Someone posted there's like, oh my God, there's this email that the FBI said that the source was credible and he was talking about Trump. Well, it was Michael Wolff, like the attorney, the guy that, has already been completely discredited and everything. It's like, oh, the FBI thought that guy was credible. Well, maybe they did at the time, but then now that's pretty much dead, isn't it? I mean, it's just, I don't know if any of this means anything. It's just ridiculous at this level. But of course, anybody who wants to bring it up of, you go through the people that they live their entire lives based on the conspiracy of Jeffrey Epstein. That's the end of all to them. Oh my God, the list is fake. Elvis Presley being on the list is fake. I don't care. Okay, if there's interesting this.
So I just want to throw something in real quick. So Zorro Ranch is obviously a cartel kind of place where they shipped. They pretended to ship cars, but they had their own runway, and it was a very convenient location because they could fly from Florida and they could fly in from South America, and they had their own plane, and they would just pretend they were shipping car parts to this ranch. So a lot of the deals that they were doing with the cartels and with groups that were international, they were doing there. There's a lot of houses there, and you couldn't really see who was staying there when you were staying. But
well, again, the point of it is with Zorro Ranch is not necessarily what it used to be or what it did. It's that the dude who bought it at public auction for probably pennies on the dollar, like it has nothing to do with him. Like, I mean, it
has nothing to do with that for one. But the second thing is there was a break-in Zorro Ranch in 2018, and they stole a lot of guns and a lot of drugs. And the people that were there, the managers, they ran off to the Virgin Islands as well because they didn't want to be touching that investigation. because they were asked the serial numbers for the guns. Well, lo and behold, the people who stole the stuff actually contacted people from the list or from lists and asked them for 1 Bitcoin or their sex videos will be sent out, and they said that there's dead bodies on the ranch. And that's where they get this information from.
Oh, so from somebody that was blackmailing somebody. That's even better. Like, it's just like, this is the problem I have with a lot of this stuff. Is like, you don't know what information is credible in it at all, because it seems to me that everybody has now used this to their political benefit for like ever now. I mean, it's anybody that was even remotely associated with this is even there was the new one that came out there trying to claim that Usted took a bunch of money from Les Wexner. It was like, Les Wexner, everybody that knows anything about the Epstein case, everybody has known who this guy is for the past, I don't know, 10 years, and nothing's happened to him. Okay. Nothing has happened to that guy at all. But like political candidates on both sides have taken money from this guy. Lots of it. I mean, he apparently just gives money to every politician that exists. So if there was some sort of damaging aspect of that, I just don't buy it, guys. This guy is walking completely free. I don't know if he is guilty or not, but at this point, every politician that exists in the planet apparently has taken money from Les Wexner or his wife. So it's ridiculous to me. But this story is, again, what I've said for a while now is it's just Groundhog Day. Someone finds something, they post it, it goes reasonably viral, and everyone goes, "Oh my God!" and then nothing happens, and there's nothing that's changed. So, but anyway, that was the update on the Epstein case. I think it's hysterical that they just released the giant, massive file that has every name that exists on it. Because I'm assuming now that, I mean, what do you do now? I mean, there you go. Here's a list. So you've got a list. So I'm not really sure.
Saying that it's like I said before. Now they're saying, "Oh, this isn't the real list. Give us the real list." Like,
well, this is the problem with all these investigations or these internet investigations. There's always something else. There must be more. There must be more. There, of course. Listen, the people that really buy into this, what they believe is that one day a magical list is going to arrive from the heavens, and it's going to have a list of all of the crimes that everybody that they don't like has done. And then all of those people are magically going to get imprisoned by it. I mean, guys, if you believe that, I feel bad for you. Like, I mean, the level of delusion that takes to believe is astounding. I mean, it really is. If you believe that one day there's going to be a documented file that has all of the lists of all of the most powerful people in the world on it, and they're all going to go to prison because it's going to have exactly what they did, how they did it, with videotapes attached, Jesus. You're living in a whole other world. That is not happening, people. That is not happening. You can pretend it's going to happen. It is not going to happen. If this was what I think this was at this point, and honestly, after the most recent release, I'm almost 100% sure at this point, this was obviously an intelligence operation, very obviously an intelligence operation. And then when it got burned, anybody, and I mean anybody that was related, or even close to knowing and understanding what was happening, they killed those people super fast. Like, every person that is important to this investigation is super dead, like very, very dead. There was a file in here that was talking about some guy that was down in Mexico, and there was a CIA person that assassinated somebody that was attached to some sort of, I don't know, no, his name was Kenneth or something. So they assassinated somebody that was involved in a case. This was a really crazy email to read. But the reality is, I looked into that guy, super dead, definitely dead. Super, super dead. Like, they killed the hell out of that guy. So again,
they also killed Kenneth Starr.
Yeah, well, I don't know who Kenneth Starr is, but my point. This is what my point is. My point is very simple. Anybody that knows anything that was actually able to really expose this is definitely dead, and they killed them a long time ago. So not really. Like, again, if there's ever going to be something that really exposes this to a further degree than what we already have, I'm going to be very surprised. To me, I think this is just proof that this was a high-level intelligence operation that's not going to be resolved, because all of the real information on it is with people that they already killed 10 years ago. So anyway, we can move on from this. So that's the Epstein Cup update.
Actually, there's one other thing, Walter.
Okay, what's up?
Bring up, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But this the Hyatt Hotel's executive chairman has resigned from his position over his Epstein files. And if you know anything about him, he is the cousin of J.B. Pritzker. So I think it's definitely worth considering what connections the Pritzker family had to Epstein.
Yeah, Tom Pritzker.
Maybe. I mean, listen, he's resigned because of, how was he implicated? What was the details behind that?
He was one of the boys.
Yeah, but that doesn't answer the question. I'm saying, well, how was he implicated? Like, what did he do specifically within it? No, No answer there.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of like moot now because everybody who seems to be mentioned is just.
Well,
yeah.
This is what my point is. Okay, like, did this guy actually do anything, or did he just get fired? Because
yeah, he got with the girls.
Yeah, but they don't. Is there proof of that? Is what my point is. We keep saying stuff
it's called hearsay, so I don't.
Yeah, well, that's again, hearsay is not meaningful. Okay, like the point is which is what I've said the whole time. Okay, a random email saying something between somebody else and them is not prosecutable evidence or evidence that's even really worth mentioning. But it doesn't matter. And this is what the whole problem with this release is. It doesn't. Listen, it doesn't matter if these people come out and they say all this stuff. But apparently now, what the reaction really is, that anybody that's even sort of associated with this goes to, like, they get thrown in the wood chipper of the public opinion, and there's nothing you can do about that. So sucks for that.
Exactly. That's why I wrote that article called "The Epstein Files: Salem 2.0." It's on my page if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll check it out at some point because that sounds pretty accurate. But anyway, so we don't need to talk about this anymore because obviously this is just never going to go away. I'm sure in like 4 days there'll be another super viral version of this that somebody has connected something else. It really is becoming like the video of Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with all the red strings. Like it is to that level at this point. I know it's been like that for a while, but I think it's like way worse now. But anyway, so we'll move on from the Epstein story, the Epstein saga that never ends, the Groundhog Day, because that's just never ending. It's just absolutely never ending. So we could talk about some of the other stuff. So Nancy Guthrie case, I assume that this woman is definitely dead at this point. I mean, I don't really. Does anybody think that she is not dead? Is there like anybody that believes that at this point? What happened with this ridiculous story that happened where they claimed that they found the person and then they had this giant SWAT response and all this stuff. And then there was a sheet that was held over top of the back of the car. And then the next day they were like, oh, no, it was just a lead. Like, what? What do you mean it was just a lead? I mean, did we not see the sheet that you covered the back of the Range Rover with and made sure you hid it from the cameras? Like, I don't understand this case anymore. I don't get it. I don't think that anybody has any real idea what's happening. Every time I hear about it, there's some sort of fake story that's come out about it. They said that at one point they were saying, well, no, the local PD isn't working with the FBI and the FBI doesn't know what's happening. And they're calling it crazy that the local PD. And then they talked to the sheriff and I heard an interview with him. He's like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm working with them. So like, what are we doing with this? I mean, it's at this point, it's just stupid. I mean, I don't even know if it's worth paying attention to until we see a real update. And has there been anything new on this story at all in the past couple days?
Not really, and it's going to be Brown University all over again. I promise you. They're going to find someone or something or whatever. It's going to be dead, etc., and they won't be able to try it or anything. They're not going to get the answers that we wanted.
Well, wonderful. I mean, that to me. Once you have a week or so of this woman being missing, like I don't assume that it's going to be good news at any point in this story.
You're breaking up badly.
I'm breaking up badly.
No, I'm not hearing him break them up.
No, that must be you, Jack Tron. It sounds like everything's coming through from my end. If anybody else has any issues, you can let me know. But anyway, guys, so yeah, I don't think that there's any updates on this story. I don't think they're going to be able to find anything new until there's some sort of major break. I don't know what to say about it because I hope that the news has finally moved on. I've been busy all weekend, so I haven't really been focused on the news all weekend, but outside of that, I don't really know if there's worth talking about the Nancy Guthrie story until something real happens, because I assume Nancy is probably dead, that there's no real answers on it. And it's been over 2 weeks now. So, I don't think that there's any real update at all there. Go ahead, Angel.
Sorry, I'm picking out. There was a little hot moment where everyone was saying that she was critical of Trump, so Trump did it, which I thought was great.
That's hysterical.
That's as close as we got.
Well, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't think so. There was a pretty funny story at one point. Someone talking about Matt Lauer, which is the former NBC host, at some point was saying, they're like, oh yeah, it was him. He did it. I thought that was very funny just because he was the guy that got.
About that.
Yeah, and it wasn't me who brought it up originally. I think I said it on the show at some point, but a friend of mine told me about it. And I thought that was a very funny way to go about that. Jennifer, how are you? You came up here. Haven't talked to you in a minute. How are you, Jen?
Hello. Hey, Walter. How's it going?
Doing just fine.
Listen, you don't have to bring in the conspiracy angle. Vanna's Guthrie, first of all, her ratings were in the toilet, right? Then She goes out for vocal cord surgery, and the ratings of the Today Show sustain, if not do better. And the next thing we know, the mother's missing. Then we find out that her husband is like the fixer for the DNC, and the father worked with the Clintons, and we're not allowed to ask questions here because didn't she disappear on the day that the Epstein files dropped?
Yeah, well, that's actually, I did hear somebody talking about that like the timing of why this story became so huge in the news. Like it was pretty strange how it was just happened to be all at the same time that all the other stuff that was happening. Because I swear, I was in Florida as this story was continuing to play, and on cable television, which I don't watch anymore and don't ever really pay attention. The ridiculous thing about that was I literally for 4 straight hours of cable television, all I did is look up and it's like the gloves, they found them, they've got the gloves this time. And it's like, oh my God, like how many times can you say the exact same thing in 4 different, the Hannity was the final straw for me. I had to turn it off. And it's just like, I can't listen to the same stupid story 100 times in a row because they just kept saying, oh, I don't know what's happening.
Well, this is what got me, and I haven't verified this story, so someone feel free if you want to go verify this story. But the story I heard was like back in the 70s or something, that the Guthrie family actually like had something similar to this happen where someone went missing, but it was an elaborate joke, right? And I heard, God, I need to go back and research that, because if that's true, right, that this is not the family's first experience with like a high, like, missing person of like high notoriety, like something is going on here. And it, like, how do you find the black glove on the side of the road when you already had the search teams go in the week or two prior, and now all of a sudden there's a black glove?
Yeah, well, listen to me. I saw a photo of the black glove. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys are familiar at all with what with how a nitrile glove. So it's a black nitrile glove. They're used for if you're like a mechanic or something like that. They're just really cheap throwaway gloves or inspection gloves, stuff like that. That's what the photo that they showed online. I saw that. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, really? This is what we're doing now? We're claiming that the people that like it's probably like one of the FBI agents threw the damn glove on the side of the road. Like it's so dumb to me that that's exactly what they were trying to say. They go, oh yeah, this is it. This is the glove. And then there was this whole story about they're sending the results to a specific lab, and I mean it's never ending. This is just another one of those things that's just nothing new or interesting has changed on it, but they keep talking about it, so it's just constant. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, and listen, not in conspiracy land, but I saw another video where, so this one of the neighbors keeps doing interviews, right? And on his finger, if you look in the video where he's being interviewed by the local news, he has a very like distinct ring on his finger, very distinct. It has like a almost like a circle raised top, right? It's like flat and it's circle and it has a raised top. And then you go and you look at the video from the Ring doorbell camera, and if you look at the guy's glove, it has a very distinct ring underneath the glove that looks suspiciously like the neighbor who keeps doing interviews. And I'm just wondering if like has anybody talked to that guy, because like,
well, apparently they didn't do door to
out.
door. They didn't do door to door knocking until like week 2. So I mean, like, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, at this point, I have no idea. I thought the video that came out, the Silence of the Lambs. Did you see that, Jen? I'm sure you did see that one, right? Like,
Oh my God. And see,
oh man, that
that's
was too
what's
much for me.
driving my conspiracy brain, right?
Yeah.
Is that like you went out in front of the world and quoted Silence of the Lambs. Simultaneously, do you guys remember when Donald Trump was on the campaign trail in 2020 and he kept bringing up randomly Hannibal Lecter? Hannibal Lecter's a good guy. Oh, that Hannibal Lecter. Why the hell is she out there quoting Silence of the Lambs? And I'm not supposed to be a conspiracy theorist when your husband was the fixer for the DNC? Like, what is going on here?
Well, there was also
By the
someone.
way, I think you mean Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie was a communist singer from Oklahoma, and he ran a flop house for like 8 years or something.
You know, it's actually also kind of funny because the guy who played Buffalo Bill actually just came out recently and said that he apologizes for playing Buffalo Bill and that, like, no, he was not really like a gay man. He was just a man with, he was a straight guy with a lot of problems.
What
A
now?
straight guy
I'm
with
sorry.
gay
Like, hold on here.
tendencies.
I'm so confused by everything that was just said. I've got to figure out what the hell you guys are
Me
talking.
too.
Buffalo Bill, the guy who played Buffalo. You guys know Buffalo Bill was a real like Western character, and he was actually a real person that like existed. Right? It was a very
Correct.
famous show in like the mid 1800s. What are
But
you
did he have
talking?
gay tendencies, Walter?
I don't know if he had gay tendencies. I know he had a guy that he drug around in a cage that he claimed was from Africa, and he claimed he was like some sort of strange species from Africa. I read all about that.
Well,
That was
Buffalo
hysterical.
Bill is not actually based on that Buffalo Bill.
He's
Buffalo
on
Bill.
camera.
What Buffalo Bill? I don't even understand where we got to Buffalo Bill. That's why I'm confused here. What the hell are you guys
Well,
talking
we
about?
were
He was
talking
talking
about
about
silence. We were talking about
Silence
Silence
of
of
the
the
Lambs.
Lambs, but no, it's not that Buffalo Bill. The Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs is based on Ed Gein, who wore women's clothes, and so the guy who plays Buffalo Bill apologized, saying like, no, he's not a gay man, and I don't think he's really trans. I think he's just like he's just an auto gynephilic is essentially. He didn't say that word, but
Oh
that's
well, I mean,
basically what he was
even
saying.
like if so the idea is I understand now. So the intention is to try to defend men who wear women's clothing. Well, just on that same
Moleskin
note, there was a
also.
guy, there is another guy who wears women clothing just shot up a hockey rink just the other day. So I mean, apparently, this is
Yeah,
just
that just happened. Actually, I'm just looking through some of his posts. He's been retweeting people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey, James
Oh,
O'Keefe,
good.
Alex Jones.
that's good.
But yeah, actors are now apologizing for acting as something else. So apparently, actors, you all owe us an apology for not being
Well,
who you were in the movie. What?
well, I kind of like see it, right? Because there are certain actors that no matter what role they play, there's a specific role that I will always see that actor, right? And when I watch the other movie, I'm like, oh, it's that actor. Like it's that movie character from that movie. Does that make sense what I just said or no?
Yeah, like
Yeah, that
Newman from
makes sense.
Seinfeld.
No, that makes sense. Well, anyway, so that was the whole strange bit about this, and to me, the whole concept. Like, I guess I didn't understand where the Buffalo Bill reference came from. Maybe I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs in like a long time, so I don't even know what the hell you're talking about there. Because I don't really care. But it just to me that was just ridiculous seeing that side by side of her literally reading the same script, which is obviously what has driven part of the part of the conspiracy aspect of this. So anyway, so Nancy Guthrie, I guess, is gone, and no one's ever going to find her. I did hear this was probably the craziest thing that came out was when the sheriff was asked about it. He said it could be weeks, months, even years. I was like, what? Holy crap, that is bad news. What do you mean years? So like, you're just going to hang out there forever? I did see someone post a hysterical video of that. This case isn't going to be solved until Nancy Grace is out front of there with a white folding table, just sitting outside of her house. Like I thought that would have been that was pretty good. I did enjoy that.
Years though. How many years does she have left? What the hell?
That's what I'm saying. Isn't she like 85 or something? Like, I mean, and I don't know. At this point, I don't think anybody has any idea what's happening with that case, and it's just pointless to continuously wait for them to try and figure it out. So there's zero updates on that other major story. So anything else from that specific thing, or can we move on to another topic now?
Let's move.
Okay. So anyway, let's see here. What else was I going to bring up this evening? So hold on just a second here. I was just checking. My app is currently working on something. I was trying to see if it's actually pulled it off. It has not done it yet. I was hoping I was going to be able to pull something from this, but I can't do that yet. So anyway, we'll continue to wait for that. But the rest of the Nancy Guthrie story, that's gone. Epstein's story, nothing has changed on it. What else has really happened over the weekend? Because I was so buried in the HHS stuff that I don't even have any idea what the news was. So is there anything else that really, really changed over the weekend other than everything breaking on the internet constantly?
Hillary Clinton was bitching about a Czech or Czechoslovakian or Czech actually person, politician, in the climate something G5 committee, and it was absolutely embarrassing. A lot of the Dems went there when the government shutdown commenced, and DHS still doesn't have a budget. And yeah, there was a fake protest with about 250 fake people, 250,000 fake people for the Shah in Germany, which I don't believe for a second.
There's a what? There's a fake protest?
The world
Like
order did
manufactured.
fail. over the weekend.
I did see that. I did see that article. There was an interesting article saying that the New World Order has completely fallen apart, and that was pretty interesting. I hadn't actually read that whole article yet. So, is that what we're talking about here?
No, that's not what I was talking about.
Well, so you're talking about Hillary Clinton at the
Munich
Munich
Security.
Security Conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the Munich Security Conference, they announced that the post 1942 world order has failed, and that was part of like what Hillary Clinton was like doing there.
Oh,
Well, she was
okay.
also talking trash to European leaders and making a big giant fool out of herself and saying that people now have to worry about bigger things than their two genders because someone was like, I'm not falling for your little gender bender thing. And she's like, people have bigger things to worry about than their two genders, blah, blah, blah. Like she just started getting really disgusting.
Well, and she also started bragging that under Bill Clinton that ICE removed more people than President Trump. So I immediately tweeted at our wonderful president Donald J. Trump that we need to hurry up and up the ICE arrests because we have a record to break. Okay, Hillary Clinton set the bar, President Trump, and now she's saying you need to break the record. So, like, let's ramp up the ICE raids. Thank you.
Absolutely good.
Well, here's part of the problem with their stupid statistics on that, and this is the same issue when you run into like Obama was the deporter in chief, which anybody who listens to this show knows very well that I've explained many times that Obama was not the deporter in chief. What he did is change the definition of how deportations worked. That's why it actually looked like he had higher numbers. He did not have higher numbers. That is not true. That is just completely fake. But the reality is that Clinton, he can claim all the weather that he wants, but Clinton's also the one who started the gutting of interior enforcement. So Clinton is part of the reason we had the low numbers in the first place because he's the one who removed all the interior enforcement. So they can claim whatever they want, but interior enforcement was a lot stronger of an organization before Clinton got a hold of it and he started screwing with it. So Clinton's partially to blame for the way that interior enforcement and why it's taken so long for us to ramp it back up again, so that we're actually enforcing the laws. That's entirely because of Clinton. So I guess he started. I can't say it's entirely because it's been multiple administrations, but he did start it. So that's very funny that they say that sort of thing. But everybody keeps talking about the deportation numbers as if they're low, and they're not low. Like they're not. Okay, the interior enforcement numbers are fantastic. But better than the interior enforcement is obviously the self-deportation number, which is far, far higher. The self-deportation number is the number that I care about more than anything. And that's the reason we have high self-deportation is because we've decided that the best way to go about this is to convince anybody that is here illegally, if you're here, someone may rappel from a helicopter, go directly through your window, and then throw you into alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, I mean, that's the correct attitude. That's what we want. I mean, if you get thrown into an alligator pit, if you're here illegally, then maybe you want to leave and you'll just leave on your own. Now, I think we can up that. I think we can fix this. I'm still going to pitch my idea of us using a cruise ship. I think cruises are the optimal way to deport people because they can be one way. And they can, how much is an all-inclusive cruise these days? Like $300? I mean, just use that. I mean, just put them all on a boat, send them all down there. You can even have Americans that are on vacation there and say you get a free cruise home. I mean, hell, I guarantee we could fill those.
But Walter, the problem is, right? Like, I'm under the understanding that the reason we're having, quote, nationwide protests, which I mean, they're only really in LA and Minneapolis or whatever.
They're not even in LA.
ICE. Well, it was because of ICE deportations. Like, they're really mad about ICE. So why's your girl Hillary? She's on your team, not ours. Okay. Why is she going out there and bragging about her husband's ICE numbers? Like, there shouldn't be a problem in my eyes. So should the protests stop now?
Yeah, well, the protests ain't stopping. That's their number one way of ginning up their voters. They got to have more protests. The protest culture. Jen, I forgot? I haven't told you about that, Jen. I haven't talked to you in a while. When I was out in Portland, I was accused of interrupting and disrupting protest culture, and I figured I'd start putting that on my resume. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that's right. How dare I interrupt protest culture? That was very funny. It was just some tiny little woman that was wearing a full pink hat and had bright green makeup on. I mean, bright green eyeshadow. It was very, very strange. I don't know what she was. She looked like something out of a really shitty movie. But she told me that I was disrupting protest culture and that I needed to leave because of that.
Get some protest etiquette.
That's right.
Sake. What the hell?
How dare I? How dare I interrupt their protesting? Even though they do it every weekend. It's kind of, to me, it's just exhausting. I mean, how the hell could you constantly? It's so stupid. Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. I'm a fascist because I have to do things like, things that make me money so I can eat. I mean, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe if I was just fed by the government like these people are, then I wouldn't have to worry about those things.
I mean, it obviously looks like the government's feeding really well. A lot of them are
That's
overweight.
Right. That's right. Yeah, most of them are overweight. I mean, I was just talking about this to somebody earlier that, the funny thing is you can actually track the amount of how our groceries went up in cost because of how much EBT people started getting. It's like absurd how much that feeds into it. We haven't even talked about that yet. I mean, the fraud that everyone's focused on recently has been like daycares, and now it's HHS. But the reality is every single government entitlement system, if it's for some humanitarian purpose, is just rampant with fraud. Just rampant with fraud. I hope we really circle back around. We were talking about EBT and SNAP fraud back at the government shutdown because apparently we were worried that, oh my Lord, if the EBT gets shut off, then children will starve. It's like, listen to me. Have you ever met anybody that lives in America? If you were in this show and you're listening to this show, have you ever seen somebody in the United States ever in your lives die of starvation? Like, does that even happen? Is there a single case of that anytime recently in the past 30, 50 years? I don't know. I mean, just when's the last documented case of a person in America dying of starvation? I'm just genuinely curious because everybody that I see that goes to these freaking EBT cards, they're buying Dunkin' Donuts. They're buying, the fudge rolls. I mean, just think, what the hell are we talking about here? I've never seen in a skinny person purchasing their food with EBT in my entire life. I mean, I've never seen it.
I haven't seen anyone die of starvation, but I have seen them be frozen in New York City under the new mayor.
Well, I mean, that's just
the problem is the meth people and the alcoholics, they don't eat. So when they die of their meth and their alcoholism, I think they might, categorize that as starvation.
If that's the case, that's absurd. I guess I've never actually looked to see, but it's just everybody is well aware at this point that nobody in this country dies of starvation. Okay, like that's just
what
not
are you
a
talking
thing.
About?
Hold on,
the kids in Minnesota disappeared because they ate so little.
Did you guys see the video of the African mother? I think she's in Nigeria, and she's sitting there like slopping food on her kids' plates, and she's like, "Hurry up, kids, and eat. There's starving kids in America."
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing. I have not seen that. That's fantastic. I would love to see that.
I haven't seen that either.
It's such a great video, and she just talks about how we're taught that Africa is like a bunch of mud huts running around with no food with starving kids, but in reality, they have houses, they have food, and it's the American kids that are worse off than the African kids. And I actually
you gotta
believe
send
it,
me
guys.
that video.
I would
love
actually
freaking believe it.
Okay, so this is great. All right, so when you go to look up starvation, like the deaths from starvation, you go to every country in the world. There's an interactive map on what is this website? World Population Review. Okay, so you guys are going to love this. So every country has lots of it. I mean, most of these countries in Africa have got a lot of it. There's a bunch of that happens in India. There's some that happens in China. There's even some apparently that happen in Canada. But you go to the United States, it is like one of how many countries is that? Four countries that there was 0 cases of starvation death whatsoever, even recorded on this map, which is just hysterical. So yes, I guess that means I don't know how accurate this website is, but it's very funny because all of these other all these other countries, even some of the places in Europe have like a couple, but you go to the United States and there ain't one. So all those EBT kids that are starving to death. I mean, just it's probably the only answer you'll get from that is that the reaction would be, well, the reason they don't starve is because we have EBT. Yeah,
no, it's because gun violence got them first.
Oh, that's it. That's probably really what the answer is. It's gun violence kept the starving kids from dying. So if you got rid of the guns, then they would be better. Then it'd be, something else the left doesn't like. But anyway, I mean, I just find it such a ridiculous argument. So hopefully we circle back at some point and get everybody to focus on the EBT and SNAP fraud, because that's massive. That's massive. I mean, California has more SNAP fraud than any place I've ever seen it. There's liquor stores that you can buy EBT liquor store right there on the sign. It's right outside of it. Little bit of background now is Priya, but I was about to come to you anyway. So what is happening, Priya?
Well, I was actually just going to chime in. I apologize if you can't hear me while I'm driving, but I was going to chime in because I actually know people that were on EBT and SNAP and Section 8 growing up here in California. And a lot of the times, a lot of these drug addicts would actually sell their SNAP and their EBT for like pennies on the dollar so that they could actually get cash for drugs instead of actually utilizing that to buy food.
Well, that I'm aware of. I mean, there's a huge black market in EBT and food stamps. I mean, it's like cash. I mean, that's how people treat it. I mean, I know many people that trade it for cash. They trade it for all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's one person at a where the hell was that? I can't remember where I was. Someone was explaining to me that one of their local places, the person that checks out some people at these, like at the checkout counter at this grocery store, they've seen some of these people that, because it shows the cash balance on the EBT card on the receipt. She said she saw one that had like $32,000 worth of EBT on it. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I don't understand how that money, like, it shouldn't be something that you can bank. I mean, like, EBT ain't no savings card, okay? This is not a CC. This is not a CDC. This is not like, you're not getting interest on that. If you don't use it, it goes back. I think that's the way that should work. But I don't know what that. I mean, it's crazy to me that that's a thing that exists.
Yeah, well, and it certainly shouldn't be able to be traded and transferred between different SNAP or EBT users.
Yeah, definitely not. You know what it should be? Let's make it tied to ID. We'll make it tied directly to Real ID. You got to use Real ID to be able to use your SNAP and benefit card. So you got to swipe your Real ID every time. That'll make them extremely mad because, I mean, apparently the people that they can, all of the people that are just unable to understand how to get an identification card, including every woman that's ever been married. I mean, that's like every woman that's just ever been married has no idea how to do this. They're so clueless. When they get married, they just lose all ability to understand where their own documents are. That's apparently a talking point from the Democrats. So let's just tie it to that, and then they'll be really upset. Then they can claim there's another reason why we shouldn't have identification for everybody in the country. Jen, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Oh shit! I have my hand up.
Well, it shows for
Captain
me.
Miller has had his hand up for a while.
I was the one who had the hand up. But
I mean, guys, the app does not work for me, so you just got to kind of chime in if you don't hear anything for a second. I'm going to people, so go ahead, Jacktron.
All right. So I wanted to actually kind of circle back to the Munich security conference because we didn't even get some of the best parts, which is, of course, Alexandria Occasional Cortex. She was questioning about...
Wait, what did you just say?
Alexandria Occasional Cortex.
Oh, my God.
Have you never heard that before? Yeah, that's a good one.
No.
Yeah, the Occasional Cortex.
Big booty Latina.
Well, I mean, that's her name, but we go by acronyms here. So anyway, go ahead, Jacktron.
So as you know, Marco Rubio went over there, gave one of the greatest speeches a Secretary of State has ever made. And then, of course, AOC melting down about it because he talks about, being against mass migration and promoting, American culture. She now has to go and mock him because he made a point about saying that cowboys could be traced back to Spain. And she says, like, there's like no indisputable back. Just says like that's not true. And it's like, yes, absolutely. Cowboys were from Spain. And she, of course, is just an idiot and has no idea what she's talking about. And
well, listen. Expecting these people to have any concept of where anything comes from is not really relevant to these people. They don't know anything. Okay, so like I'm never surprised that the bartender from New York City doesn't know things. I mean, she's an idiot. I mean, they don't care if the people that they elect are intelligent. That's not relevant to them. Okay, I mean, like I've said this on the show 100 times. They will elect a goldfish. Okay. Does the goldfish do what they say? Yes. Okay. Goldfish, put it in there. Have it swimming around on the desk. I mean, it doesn't matter to them. Okay. It's not relevant. They don't care. AOC doesn't know anything at all. She is a bartender from New York City. She is a moron, but she's like top in line for who they're going to try and put up there for vice president or president. I mean, at this point, we may get a Kamala Harris AOC ticket. If we get that, I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to that. I hope so. I love listening to. There's a whole group of people that are Democrats swear that these things won't happen. That Jasmine Crockett, that when it first came out that Jasmine Crockett announced her Senate, her Senate race, they were like, "Oh, that's fake. She's not really running for Senate in Texas." Like, oh yeah, you think so? Your stupid primary voters are going to definitely put her up there, and she's going to get trounced in Texas. She is going to lose so badly in Texas, it's not even funny. There's zero chance that she wins in Texas, but the primary voters are all going, "Oh yeah, we love this one." Oh my God, it's so stupid. I mean, but this is what the Democrats do. I mean, there's zero chance that the Crockett manages to actually do that. The ghetto stiletto herself, but whatever. Okay, Captain Miller, you had your hand up.
Great point.
You got go ahead, Captain Miller. I was coming to you. Go ahead.
Thanks. You made a great point earlier that the Democrats, the communists, they're running a demoralization campaign with this. Oh, Obama deported more people, and you and I and people in the know. We know that Obama counted literally anyone turned away at the border as a deportation, but a lot of people don't know that. And I'm glad you're repeating it because it's the only way to get it out to people to combat the propaganda. And it is sickening because there really is a campaign by the communists. There's this one woman named DDG Sarah, literal communist. She sold her children's toys to buy Vicodin. And she's on this app every day peddling these communist lies to try and demoralize the right, to undermine the MAGA movement. So good on you, Walter, for getting the truth out there. I love that.
Well,
Wait,
the one
who is
I
this?
only
Wait,
I have one, guys.
Hold
Please,
on,
guys,
what?
no, guys. Whoa, hey, what's the rule in here? No one talks while I'm talking. Like I don't know who was talking, but that doesn't matter to me. Okay, so the one rule that I have for my show and anywhere else is no communists. So I hate communists. I think communists are, by their very nature, liars, disingenuous, and have zero interest in assisting this country. So anybody that is a communist, just consider that I already hated you before we even started talking. So anybody that is a communist, I just make sure that I inform them of that. That's the one rule when you join my the group that we have on X, the community, is that there are 3 rules. 1, you can't be a communist. 2, you can't be a gay communist. And 3, no communists. Those are the 3 rules that I keep for my show, for my everything that I have. So no communists. So I don't give a shit what kind of communists you are. They all suck and they're all lying and they're all shitbags. So anyway, go ahead, Priya. You had your hand up. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have a hand up.
Well, again, this thing keeps showing me everyone else's hand. So there's no person that came up here. Go ahead, Media Right News.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just wanted to say I agree wholeheartedly with Captain Miller, and you guys have royalty in your minutes whenever you have him on. So whenever you give him a chance to speak, definitely listen to whatever he has to say. And to add to what he was saying, it's just a shame that the gripers have hopped onto this stupid concept of Obama deported more people than Trump when they're supposed to be far right. And they're actually doing the bidding of the fucking Democrats because they're stupid idiots. And excuse my language. I apologize. Thank you for letting me speak.
You're
They've
fine.
Always done the bidding of them.
Yeah, well, guys, the one thing I'll say about the Groyper movement of people is that the problem I genuinely have with a lot of that is that most of the time, not all of them, but most of the time, the people that are talking in that group are just simply not serious about what they're doing. I mean, for example, on some of these things here, some of the candidates that they've decided to run for their positions in various state elections, they're just simply not serious candidates. I mean, they're just not. I mean, the stuff that you do to win a serious election is very difficult. I mean, you can't just go out there and say stupid things and then expect people to elect you. The idea that you can do that and then you're going to put a bunch of memes on social media that may be able to actually do that for you is just not true. It's just not true. So looks like I just lost connection, guys. I don't know if I'm still here on the show or not.
No, we can hear you. Yeah, Fishback and Casey Push. It's a shame that Casey Push couldn't just be normal because I would love not to have an Indian be the governor of Ohio. But Casey Push just could not keep it together.
Well, I mean,
is this Andrew Meyer?
Yes, it is.
I don't know who Andrew Meyer is.
Andrew Meyer is the famous "Don't Tase Me" bro from the John Kerry rally.
Oh,
that's true.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. That's pretty funny. I didn't know that. Well, welcome to the show. But no. So again, to me, It's again, to me, the problem I have with a lot of these people is that you're just simply not serious about winning. If you were serious about winning for a lot of these scenarios, you would do other things than just say whatever you want and expect people to just be okay with that. That's just not how things work like that. Whoa. Sorry, guys, I'm having issues here with my system. I don't know what the hell just happened.
Well, we can hear you. It's all coming through good, Walter.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's on the this show is broadcast in multiple different locations. Okay, so this show is also live on Substack, YouTube, Rumble. It's also pushed to a bunch of RSS feeds, and something just completely disconnected, and it just started playing music and doing other weird things. So I can't. I don't think you guys can hear that because that comes through on my earphones. But it's to the other people that are listening. Apologies, guys. Looks like we're having problems. But okay.
Yeah, it's just the followers on OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my OnlyFans is doing real well. It's real cheap though over there. So I mean, there's multiple tiers to the subscribing to me. You can subscribe on X and you get access to all of my my investigations. And if you go on Substack, you get all my writing. If you go on my OnlyFans, you get like random pictures of my feet, and that's all you get over there. I mean, that's how that works. So okay, let's see here. Stevenson's coming up here too.
Walter, before we do that, there is this funny story that we want to maybe talk about from it's personal to me because it's my representative. So I don't know if you've been seeing that post that has gone mega viral from him.
Who now?
My Randy Fine. He put this post out yesterday because of this. Actually, no, I think it was today. Because there's this story going around that some of the Muslim activists who campaigned with Mamdani now want to make it to outlaw dogs as pets because of their quote unclean in Islam. And he came out with a post that said, given the choice between dogs and Muslims, the choice is clear. And everybody just absolutely lost their minds. The entire left freaked out. And then you had like Piers Morgan freaking out. And then you even had Megyn Kelly freaking out about it.
But it's a question. It's like an honest question. Like, I don't see how it's like harmful.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, like the idea that we need to be nice to people anymore. Like the other day, someone got very mad at me because I was talking about the Haitians and how they need to be deported rapidly. Someone would say, "Oh my God, the Haitians are such good people. They're by a majority of them are peaceful and beneficial to society." And I said, "Well, how many cars flip over in your neighborhoods? Because that happens like once a week here. So you can shut the hell up if you think they're doing a good job around our city. I mean, the crazy things that have happened in this city. I mean, everyone." For those who are new to the show and maybe have never heard me before, I'm from Springfield, Ohio. Yes, the Springfield that everyone talked about during the election. They're eating the dogs or eating the cats. Same place, okay? So Springfield, Ohio has a town population, used to have a population of about 60,000 people. And then during the Biden administration, they dropped 30,000 Haitians in this city. Now, I don't specifically have anything against the Haitians, but do you think it's a problem to drop a bunch of third worlders into an American city and it be a third of the population now? Do you think that might cause problems? Like, is there no way that you can see how that could cause problems? If you can't imagine, and I'll give you an example that you can really explain these sort of things to you. So the local high school went from having about 90 or 100 Haitians that went to that school to over 1,200. Okay, in less than 4 years. Now, there's a real problem with that, okay? Because to actually be able to teach these children, to be able to teach children that don't speak English, you have to bring in translators. And a Creole translator is like $500 an hour. I mean, it's like an insane cost. So the local schools are overloaded and they have to bring in outside translators and hire them just so they can teach these kids. That is just one problem. Okay, so anybody who doesn't understand what the mass immigration problem is and you don't understand why we need to, like, I'm not nice to people about it. I don't care. Okay, like, I'm sorry. If you're here on temporary protective status, that shit needs to end and it's time for you to go home. I don't care how terrible your home is. Like, it is so irrelevant to me if your home sucks. Like, that is not my problem. Okay, that is really not my problem. You're making my home suck by being here. So I don't care if you don't like it and you're upset about it. That is just not relevant to me in the slightest. I don't care if the Haitians don't like it. I don't care if any of the Chinese don't like it. I don't care. Okay, get them out. All right? The amount of things that have gone wrong as a result of this ridiculous policy are so astronomical you can't even imagine. The thing that makes me the most mad, specifically about my city, is that Springfield went viral for the stupidest thing that could possibly have ever come out. This dumb story about them eating cats and eating dogs and whatever the hell it was, that's the thing that went viral. The problem with that is, one, nobody in Springfield cared about the cats, okay? We had a huge stray cat problem. No one cared at all when the cats started disappearing. Everyone's like, oh, sweet. And when they got rid of the geese in the local park, I was celebrating. Those things are obnoxious and terrible and ruthlessly mean. So anyway, so none of those were problems, okay? That's the thing that went viral, but I don't care about that in the slightest, okay? But what really should have gone viral is the story that I broke a year prior when a illegal Haitian immigrant that could not speak English with a Mexican driver's license ran a school bus off the road, killed a kid, sent 26 to the hospital, and one little girl lost a leg, okay? That story should have gone viral. That story should have been talked about, but it wasn't talked about. No one even knows that it happened. The only people that ever hear that story, hear about that is when they come here and they hear me talk about it. It's the only time you ever hear about it. I was less than 2 miles away from when that happened. I talked to the state troopers when it happened. They said, yeah, he had a Mexican driver's license. He couldn't understand what we were saying. We think he might have an ICE detainer. Those are the kind of people that were here. And those are the kind of stories that nobody hears about. But those, I guarantee you, all of these places where you have these large immigrant populations that you just dropped in, those are the stories that should have been talked about and never were. So when I hear about this
people
stuff, it's
care
obnoxious.
about animals, Walter. You have to understand, like, this Randy Fine tweet is going viral because people love dogs and Muslims are trying to take people's dogs away. But Muslims are also blowing people up and killing them and raping them. And it's not as big a deal to people that, wait a minute, they want to take my dog away. So you got to reach people where they live. You know, like, people love dogs. So go with the fact that Muslims hate dogs.
Well, I mean, I don't see a problem with that. But my point is specifically that people are always shocked when, my God, these crazy stories happening. It's like, well, yeah, there's a lot more insane things that happen across the country, and these stupid cat like videos and stuff like that. The fact that caused attention to an area that should have been paid attention to for completely different reasons. That's what my kind of the point is. Okay, Angel, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about the Ohio immigration from all the Haitians, that was actually brought to you by Les Wexner. He actually had a union in Haiti or whatever it's called. For garment workers. And those garment workers had to be unionized and brought into the United States under a CIA agent that was the head of the union. It's a very, very interesting story. If anyone wants to look it up, Mike Benz summarized it very well. And he basically brought all these people in. And he also wants to turn Ohio into the Silicon Valley of, I don't know, Central America or whatever it's called, like
the Midwest,
Middle America, whatever.
The Midwest. Listen, the idea that the Silicon Valley is going to come to the Midwest has been talked about for a while, and the real reason for that, it's not some sort of conspiracy. It's because they realized, and this is actually partially AOC's doing, that why would we build and set up our headquarters in these ridiculously overpriced cities when we could buy the land, build the entire facility, and pay the people that work there a fraction of the same cost? And just have the same people. Like, what's the purpose? Like, you don't have to live in a big city. So, like, well, no, the reason I said it's AOC's doing is because AOC was the one that screwed up the Amazon deal for New York. That's what my point is, because she went after that stuff, and then Amazon's like, well, we're not going to build there. And then Amazon's like, well, where can we build? Oh, Ohio looks nice. So Amazon started to build in Ohio. The reality is that these big cities are starting to have big problems because the people that are actually worth money are leaving them at a rapid clip. I mean, it is happening very fast. There's a great map that just came out the other day that showed the exodus from California and New York and where everybody's going. Everybody's moving to either any of the red states. All have great things, but the better part about it is you can just see like every blue state, the surrounding states of the big blue states are all just constantly being filled. It's very funny. It's like, I can't imagine why people are leaving California. I mean, it's so nice there. I mean, the Palisades, just a beautiful place. I was just there. Looks great. They've done a lot of renovation, and they haven't fixed anything. It looks great. Looks the updates since the fires looks like about a week after the fires, and that's about it. Nothing's changed. So, if their intention is to turn it back to nature as the only place that actually has that, I think that they're going to be successful in that approach.
No, it's a land grab.
Well, maybe. But the reality is that this is just what my point is. I mean, the blue states are just endless with the problems they have, and everybody leaves them rapidly. Okay, see, I've got other people. Guys, if you'd like to join the show, you can come up here and join us yourselves. You're more than welcome to come up here and talk and chime in yourself. We went over the opening of the show. We were talking about the new HHS data set that was released, and I've got more information that's going to come out on that. So we'll continue with that. Go ahead, Captain Miller. You just put your hand up.
Thank you. Walter, I heard you say earlier that you hate communists.
Yes.
And a little more information on that communist I was talking about, DDG Sarah. Not only did she sell her children's toys to buy Vicodin and do other unseemly things in front of her children, but she's a literal traitor.
Dude, can you get a grip? Dude, it's been a year and you're still talking about the woman, dude. Holy.
Jordan, why are you interrupting me, sir?
Well, here's the problem.
Jordan, I'm talking about a communist. Why are you defending
hold
a
on,
communist,
guys.
Jordan?
Whoa. Okay, so listen to me. Here's the one thing, all right? My general comment on communists is very, very specific. I hate all communists. But that does not mean that you can come up onto our show and come up in here and you can talk on my show and just sit there and bash somebody who is not present. I don't do that. Okay, that is not how this
is. Obama here? Is Joe Biden here? Can we talk about communists or no?
Hey, listen to me, dude. Shut the fuck up. All right. This is my show.
You're a faggot then.
Oh my
Fuck
God,
you.
dude. Listen to me, dude. I don't care if you don't like it. All right. This is my show. If you want to show up in my show and bash somebody that is a person that exists that we can come and talk to, I don't care about Bo Biden. No one gives a damn about Bo Biden. Like, those people they're political figures. They're completely separate from this conversation. Okay. You're talking about someone very specific that exists on this app, and I know people talk to them. Okay, so you're just sitting here just kind of trying to hear bash somebody. You already mentioned it once. Don't mention it. You don't have to continuously go after somebody again and again and again and again. What does that gain anybody? Okay, like, just sitting there yelling about somebody doesn't do anything. I don't like communists. Made it very clear. Communists aren't welcome on my show. But that does not mean you need to come up here and constantly bash somebody who's, one, not here, and two, we get it, dude. We get it. All right. This is just a completely pointless conversation. Okay, we need to move on. We got another person.
Yeah, she's a traitor to America. And
all right,
I don't understand why, because you're a friend with her.
Listen to me, buddy.
Sorry.
Listen to me, buddy.
Me.
Oh my!
You have a mutual friend. Excuse me.
Oh my God, buddy. Listen to me. I don't care if you don't like it, but this is how this is going to work. You're going to leave, and you can come back. Never. I mean, I don't care. I don't know who you are. You said somebody said you were royalty. You are nobody to me. Yeah, I've never heard of you before, and I don't think I'll ever hear of you ever again. So that's how that works. Okay, Daniel, you came up here and joined us. What's up?
Yeah, so you said something really important about the stories that they don't actually put out, like the one of the man killing a child, injuring the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't put those stories out because, like the other guy said, people are focused on the emotional stories because it generates more engagement. So they rage bait you, these BS feel-good stories, and then you got YouTubers out there uncovering massive billions of dollars of fraud, whereas the local newspaper used to do that. But everybody stopped caring about things that mattered and started focusing on their feelings, and this is what we get. So I do think that we need to start focusing more on those stories that matter, because if we don't, then pretty soon you're going to look up and everybody's going to be like New York with Mom Donnie running the place.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if we could actually get people to focus on the stories that matter. I do think that we are kind of in a new age now where we're starting to see the decentralization of media to a much better level. I'm seeing a lot of people, like, obviously, like the Nick Shirley video is the most obvious example of this. We actually made a huge difference with something like that. I mean, that thing went so viral that over 100 million people watched the video. That was great. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that should happen. And there's lots of stories like that need to hit the news, and not just the regular cable news. It needs to get uber viral on here so we can actually get things to change from it. And I think that's starting to change. I'm hoping that people are still like, the one thing I do notice is that when you have real information about where your tax dollars are going, that seems to be reasonably effective. So, I mean, it seems to be, people don't like that no matter where it's at. So if you actually manage to get some real information on that, that seems to work.
Yeah, but I was also noticing that if you pay attention to it, a lot of those small town newspapers that hired those investigative journalists, they went out of business. They all started consolidating and getting bought up by corporate media, and they're not focused on that. They're too busy trying to sway public opinion. Because the only reason why you could actually see all these things is because the government wanted to be transparent about where your tax dollars were going. So they had the list where these people. There was a lady, I can't think of her name, but she's down in Texas, and she discovered an H-1B1 visa scam, whereas a lot of people were listing their houses as a business, and they were bringing in a bunch of these people, 10, 12 people on these H-1B1 visas, and they were working for a company, air quotes, that would subcontract them out to work at places like Verizon, AT&T, even Subway, for crying out loud. So they were using that to skirt the immigration progress, and that causes problems too. So I do think we need to focus on that. But I agree with you, though. But thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see here. Jay, you came up here, and I haven't talked to you in a minute, buddy. What's happening?
Hey, Walter, I just wanted to say that Vladimir Putin is a communist, and I'd like to bash him along with just a regular ex-influencer at the same time. Is that the same thing?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no difference between the two, apparently. So, there's no difference at all, apparently. Well, wait a minute. I thought we were all Russian agents. I thought that was part of this. I thought that was how this worked. I thought I was considered a Russian.
Mossad.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Mossad.
sorry. That's right. I'm Mossad. Or what was the other one? What was the other? Hindu nationalist. That's the other one. So, I mean, like the ridiculous level of this stuff. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's the same thing when the people come up here and they're like, do you like Israel? Like, oh my fucking God, shut up. God almighty, you people suck. Yeah, I mean, yes. Anyway, so sorry. I'm just,
You're Hindu now?
Yeah, I'm Hindu now. I changed. It's once a week.
Yeah, he's a Hindu Jewish person.
I'm a Hindu Jewish. What is the Russian version? What is that one? I forget what it is. Orthodox. That's
Communist?
it. No, not communist. The Russian Orthodox. I'm just going through all the religions. Okay, here. Go ahead, Priya. I know you're trying to get in here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you and me both, Walter, both Hindu nationalists here.
No, that's right. That's it. That's right. Oh, that's what. Now, see, I'm screwed now. And Priya's up here, so now I'm going to be a Hindu nationalist forever. I love this stuff. But Jay, how are you, dude? I haven't talked to you in a minute. I haven't been on the show. I've been busy.
No, been great. Actually, on the podcast tonight, we had a great interview with Tim Burchett, since you're asking. So we had him for like 20 minutes, and tomorrow we have Roger Stone for an hour.
Oh, wow.
Which is awesome.
That's fantastic, dude. That's fantastic. I'd love to be I'm going to have to watch that one. That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, tomorrow at 7. We'll stream it through our space, and yeah, it was great tonight. Tim Burchett was great. We had him for like 20 minutes, like I said. I mean, he's such like a regular guy. I mean, just the best. If every congressman was like Tim Burchett, I think the country would be in great shape.
I've been enjoying watching Burchett's rise. He was, he's been good for a long time, but he's really kind of become almost a national figure at this point. Because he actually does maintain that kind of I'm only here because the people sent me here, which is something that all politicians should do. But most of them are there so they can figure out how to steal your money from you in a more efficient manner. That's what a large percentage of them like to do. Okay, go ahead.
No, Walter, real quick. One last thing about him. You could tell what you just said. He appreciates that he got sent there. Like he's grateful for it. And I think he gets it.
Well, and I already know that. I mean, the reality is that's why he's there. He knows that the people sent him there, and he appreciates that. He actually talks to his people all the time, which is good. I just like that he likes to try and keep in contact. A lot of the problems with DC is because the DC, when they call it a swamp, they call it a swamp for a reason. Because you go in and you get stuck in the morass of all of the glamour and the lights and the cameras and everything else. And then you're only going to the congressional only dining hall or the senator's only elevator. And, once you get stuck in that, it's very difficult to be able to pull yourself out of it, especially when everything's free. You don't ever do anything every time. I mean, it's the unspoken rule in DC, by the way, guys. Lunch is always 2 hours and it's always on someone else's dime. That's how it normally works in DC. So, I mean, that's a very common thing. It's not like when you go to lunch with your buddies where everyone splits up the check. No, someone just has that thing, and you don't even have to pay any attention to it. That's how politicians live their lives, and that's how a lot of them get stuck in this scenario where they're always beholden to lobbyists and not paying any real attention to what's going on around them. Okay, Moon High, you came up here. You are new on the show. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me up. I'm doing good. Just got home from work a little bit ago, but I wanted to ask you. Do you remember Ben Swan? I think his name was. He did like the reality check. That Swan. Was I can't even remember what year that was. That he did that or got really popular from that. That was probably Ron Paul era, like 2012 maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember him.
I mean, it sounds familiar to me, but I don't know why. What's up about it?
He was kind of like he got viral. Because he was doing that like deep checking into like things that people really didn't pay much attention to, kind of like what Nick Shirley did. He was kind of like the first Nick Shirley on like, I don't think X was still, Twitter at this point, but I think more independent journalists like that, like Nick Shirley and Ben Swan, people that actually really want to look into the facts of things. I would love to see NBC, all these news stations just gone.
Well,
I think it will get to that point, but
it will. I mean, the reality is that these things are dying. They're propped up. No one watches these things anymore. Okay. Like, I mean, I'll tell you, I know that they have some viewers on these things, but they're getting less and less every single year. They're getting less and less and less and less. Podcast has risen all the way up. But even then, podcast now is there's so many podcasts that podcasts have kind of died off. Now, I think the one thing that's really never going to go away, though, is this style of show, which is essentially a call-in. I don't think that call-ins are ever going to go away because the reality is that this, to me, is the reason I like doing this show is because being able to talk to people is the greatest thing to be able to keep yourself grounded. Be able to talk to anybody. Anybody can come up here and say anything they want. And I'll hear them out and I'll be willing to respond to it, whatever it is. That right there is something that you don't get when you're a national TV host. I mean, you're a national TV host and you go up there and your producer has written your show and you sit down and then you read off the teleprompter and you get up and you walk away. Oh, I did a great show. Like, well, cool. No one cares anymore. I mean, that stuff is just going away slowly but surely. Those things are going to die out. Podcasts themselves are obviously have already really, they get way more views. But even then, clips now are even better than that. So, a single clip, 15 million people can see that clip in a day. I mean, that sort of stuff is far more viral and far more effective. And I think that's the reality of it. The days of real big cable news stuff is slowly going to die, especially as the next generation of old people die. When the old boomers are no longer watching television and it's just people sitting on their phones in their nursing homes, then I don't think cable news is going to do too well.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I can't wait. I think we're all ready for that.
Yeah, well, the problem is that the geriatrics are still in Congress as we speak. So, until we get those people out and then the next generation of people that'll be super old and they'll still be kind of boomerish, it's going to be, we got an uphill fight before then.
Okay. Do you guys think that age cap would solve that issue?
What now?
Age cap on how when you reach a certain age, you can't serve anymore or have term limits. Do you think that would actually help anything?
Well, I think it would. But the problem is with that is that Congress will never vote to reduce its own power. And you're never going to be in a scenario where there is more young people in Congress than there are old people in Congress. So the idea that the older members of Congress, you don't even have to talk about the ones that are in their geriatric 80-year-old ones that the Mitch McConnells that are being wheeled around in wheelchairs. You don't even have to talk about those people. You can just talk about just the people that are in their early 60s or, things like that. If they think, well, I'm going to be healthy forever, those people aren't going to vote for it either. Okay. So it's just unlikely.
That's why I think a better position would be have a supreme leader, a dictator that Look, I know you're going to call me crazy.
I want a king, damn it. I want a king. Well, we screwed up. We should have kept a king.
Look, somebody that can make all the decisions, and if you don't like him, then it's one guy to kill. It's not a lot of people,
It's one guy. This is an excellent conversation. I love this idea. We just need to have a dictator, so that way when he screws up, we can just kill that guy, and then it's all better. I mean, this is the greatest, how we rise into authoritarianism. It's well, it just seems easier. I mean, that's what other countries do. Every time they want to get rid of their leadership, they just kill everybody and then they start over. And it's, it's a much better system. We'll just move to that. No, but I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about just generally. They just, that's how every country does it. They just shoot their leaders, and then after they're dead, they put the new guy in charge. And if he screws up, they shoot him too. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe that's a better way to run your country. I'm not sure.
I think we can make that the 28th Amendment.
So it sends a very strong message to get the job right?
It does send a strong message. That's true. These are great ideas, people. Just making sure that we have one authoritarian dictator at a time is brilliant. The problem with that is that, what if the authoritarian dictator that's in charge just shoots back? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this seems like a complicated idea. I think it's better that we keep the Constitution running. It's probably a smarter decision. The better thing for us to do would be throw all of the idiots that we have running our country out of office. The unfortunate part is that a lot of idiots elected some of these people. I mean, they elected AOC, for God's sake. We don't even need to describe this problem. So, I mean, I don't know. How you
solve the country's south of the equator, so that count for something?
I guess that's true. I mean, she is a big booty Latina. That adds to her credibility.
But they never thought that immigrants would come in to America and run for office. And I think that's why, that wasn't in the Constitution that you had to be a born citizen, being the president. And I think that was a big mistake by them. And I would love to go back in time and ask them, why didn't you put that in for anyone in government, period, but especially a politician? I think that should have been
Well,
no brainer.
but even then, like the majority of our politicians are not immigrants, and we still have a whole ton of problems. What they really should have done is figured out how to institute a mandatory IQ test. And if you did that and you were too stupid, then you weren't even allowed to get anywhere near Congress or do anything important, and you were just relegated to like a small busboy job or something. If we could have that happen, where all dumb people are removed from top levels positions, which is something we instituted that by mandatory mandate under DEI. I mean, at DEI, we've got a woman on the Supreme Court who doesn't understand what a woman is. She even in her Supreme Court decree, okay, in her actual dissenting opinion, she wrote full stop and talked about aliens. This is on the Supreme Court. I mean, so it's when we have morons in charge, it is obviously a problem. Okay, I mean, you guys ever seen the movie Idiocracy? We are rapidly approaching that. I'm waiting for Retribution Night. What is that name of that? Where they have the monster truck at the end. I think it's called Retribution, isn't it? I don't remember. Or maybe it's Intervention.
Mondo dude, like Randy.
Yeah. Mongo is the president, which is just great. We are approaching that level.
Well,
yeah, that's
not a biologist, to be fair. She did make that statement.
That's true. I mean, I don't, there's lots of things that, I'm not a biologist. I don't, but I somehow know what a cat is. But, maybe there's difference there. I mean, I don't know.
What's wild about that?
Yeah.
She talked about aliens.
Yeah, she did. No, seriously, like, I'm not even joking. Like, if you think I'm joking, go to my...
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you can go check it. Guys, anybody in the audience, if you don't believe me, you can go read on my article list here on X. There's an article that talks about it, and I named her, and this is... Her name now is not Ketanji Brown Jackson anymore. It is Full Stop Jackie. So that is her actual title. That's the only thing I refer to her as. So Full Stop Jackie, I have a whole article about her dissenting opinion where she talked about aliens and full stop and everything else. I mean, we are going to have comedy for the next 30 years because of this moron that we put onto the Supreme Court. So, it's so bad. And for those who know anything about legal theory or anything like that, is that when they actually quoted Barrett quoted Marbury versus Madison when rebuking her actual opinion. Marbury versus Madison is like the basis for our entire legal system. That's like the first year, like that's pre-law stuff. So, when you're getting quoted that by the Supreme Court, I think we may have a problem. It's just,
and she wrote it in crayon.
Well, listen, the different colored pencils that she used to write her opinions, that we didn't talk about that because that's embarrassing. Okay, we don't need to embarrass her. She can do it in orange and pink and purple. That's allowed. That there's no rule that says you have to use black ink to write your Supreme Court opinion, and she took that to heart. It's the same pens that she used when she went onto her Broadway show, which was the highlight of her entire life.
What do you do about these judges? Like all these judges just out of line on a lot of things. Like, what would you do? What can you do? I mean, it's kind of insane that they have that much power.
Well,
to a federal level. I
agree with you. And the reality is that the Supreme Court stupidly left a loophole open. Okay, so they ruled on the nationwide injunctions already. But they left a loophole in it, and the loophole essentially is if you create a class action lawsuit, which is like a group of people formed together to form a class action. They left that open because they assumed, well, I mean, that makes it a lot more difficult. They won't do that. And what did they do? Within a day of that ruling happening from the Supreme Court, there was now 25 class action lawsuits against the president in making sure that they can continue the nationwide injunction. So the reality is that what should happen is the Supreme Court should go back and rein in the district courts, actually rein them in. But the problem is that what's really happening is all these places aren't even making it to the Supreme Court. They're not even going to the Supreme Court, really. They're just getting overruled. The only thing the Democrats are doing is constantly delay. Now, what I think needs to happen is the Supreme Court needs to have some sort of ruling so that when a higher level court makes a decision, that they can't just overrule the higher court's decision by having a different district court in a different district rule on the exact same case in a different scenario. I mean, that's the fact that keeps happening is ridiculous. That's not how our judicial system is supposed to work. A higher court already said it is legal, and then a district court saying it is now illegal. That is stupid. I mean, that's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense how that's working. It's constantly going back up to the courts. There should be something done about that in terms of getting these judges out. I don't know how you get out some of these judges because they live in districts that will never impeach them. being able to get rid of these people, I think you actually have to reorganize some of the courts. And I think the only real way they can be done is by the Supreme Court actually taking a real reign on these people. But I don't know. It's
The
difficult
only
to
other
even
way
say
I
that.
can think of is that you actually have to get Congress to pass some new laws saying that they can't issue nationwide injunctions.
Well, I mean, getting Congress to do anything would be amazing, but Congress sucks. So we established this, that most people that are in Congress leave their brain when they're elected. So that's part of the problem. So, all right, Daniel, if you have your hand up, go ahead. Nope.
Oh, my bad. I was trying to do an emoji. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Oh, no, it's the app for me. Every time I look over and I just see if somebody's got their hand up because I can barely see the screen anyway. All right. So anyway, guys, I don't know if we have any specific other news. Do you guys have anything else? Do you guys need to cover anything else we missed?
Do we want to talk about Obama saying aliens are real?
Oh my God, did he really?
Yes, he did, and then he walked it back.
Listen, Obama has a lot of problems. His husband hates him. He's a communist. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what to say about Obama. He came out the other day and he was saying that he was another one of these people claiming that women were too stupid to be able to figure out how to manage their own documents for their marriage certificates. I love that that's their argument. It's so stupid to me. It's like it makes zero sense whatsoever. They just had to come up with anything that they could to make sure that people didn't talk about voter ID. I did see that, but no, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to Obama because he started being active again once his surrogate, the dead Joe Biden, was left office. But the reality is that Obama, he's got enough problems on his plate. I think that I'm not too worried about his opinion on aliens because, I mean, who cares? I mean, his husband is terrible anyway. So maybe we could go back to the video, or what was it, last week or the week before, where they had the video of the monkeys that they appeared as, and everyone was losing their minds as if that was the end of the planet. That was very funny. I liked the Power Rangers sequel to that. Did you guys see that one? That one was great. That was fantastic.
That one was great.
Yeah, the Power Rangers sequel to the Obama monkey video was fantastic. I recommend everybody go and check that out. All right, guys. I don't think we have anything else. We're just kind of going around the circle here. So I think we're going to go ahead and end for this evening. Now, I want to make sure everyone remembers that at some point in the next 24 hours or so, the website map that has all of the interactive HHS data will be live. And if you guys want access to the beta one, you want to be beta testers, just shoot me a DM and I'll let you guys into the website. But outside of that, guys, we will see you guys tomorrow night. I'm finally back in Ohio, and I'm going to be here for at least a week this time. So I will be going to the State of the Union next week. So that's the only thing that's going to be happening in terms of travel. But for the show will continue as progress as scheduled for now. So tomorrow night, 9 p.m., we'll be back here. Guys, make sure you follow all of my hosts and speakers up here on the stage. I've got great people up here. There's good people up here that are worth following. Jordan Daly, my co-host, Jay Gatling, and my other co-host here. Both of them are great people. They've got good shows of their own. Make sure you follow Priya and Daniel and any of the other people up here, Jack Tron, Angel, Moonlight, Moon High. Follow all these people. These are good people.
I just have a little quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So in my town, I live in Maryland. There's really starting to be a push for Section 8 housing, like massive. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I find out who's behind this, who's pushing this in my county? Like, what people would I have to look at? Do you know that?
Yeah, I would be able to help you with that, but just shoot me a DM, dude. That's not something I'm going to cover because that'll take me 20 minutes to be able to cover. Shoot me a DM and I'll be able to help you out with that. But all right, guys, we will see you guys next time on the Political Theater. I appreciate everyone who showed up to the show. If you guys want to support the show, always you can subscribe right here on X. If you want to subscribe here on X, that is the only place that you get access to the behind the scenes on the investigation works that I'm doing across the country. And if you guys want to support the written version of the show, and there's other things that happen on WCDispatch.com, that's great. And obviously there'll be some new features that are going to be live on there soon. So we will see you guys tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for more of the Political Theater. Appreciate you guys showing up, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, it ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so... Some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare impaired. ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker raised hares, no, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Yeah, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawn's friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast one. No, we won't be spun. America's